pile outside, which is actually against federal CAFO laws, because rainwater and snowmelt percolate through the pile, pick up all kinds of nasties, and carry them down slope. Here's a simple solution: a covered, contained compost pile that's aerated from underneath by a blower, so it doesn't have to be turned, ever. It turns ugly, stinky, fly-ridden manure piles into enough money to pay someone to clean stalls every day and pick up manure in the pastures twice a week, and still have money left over. In fact, with this system, every time a horse defecates, that's 25 cents worth of finished, certifiably weed-free garden compost at wholesale prices. At roughly 10 defecations a day per horse, that's more than $900 of untapped income from every animal every year. Got 5 horses? If you're not picking up the manure, you're letting almost $5,000 worth of profits run into the lake. O2compost.com is a Seattle area outfit that can fit you with an aerated static pile compost system that's just the right size, whether you have chickens, sheep, goats, horses, or Herefords. And while we're on this delicate subject, phosphorus from leaky or overwhelmed septic systems is not as abundant as phosphorus from runoff in the watershed, but biologically, it's significantly more potent. And no matter what the TV ads say, septic system additives like Rid-X do not eliminate the need to have the sludge pumped out of your septic tank. Have your system inspected this week to find out how often it should be pumped, then get it pumped religiously. And here's another thing that commonly causes even top-notch brand new septic systems to fail.
If you're going to have a bunch of people over for, say, a family reunion and it might overwhelm your septic system, think about renting a porta potty. They're cheap, easy, they'll come and deliver it, take it away. There's nothing to deal with, and you don't have to worry about overwhelming your septic system and potentially impacting the water quality.
When septic systems fail, it's a disaster for the lake. The pollution will persist and recycle in the lake for decades. To give a great gift to Hayden Lake, call a local septic service company and ask them to put your system on an automatic pumping schedule. And paperclip the phone number for a good porta potty company in your event planner so you won't forget to call them for your next party. Here's a quickie. As we've mentioned, fast powerboats and personal watercraft are accelerating the problem by stirring up sediments on the lake's bottom, especially in the shallows, but in the deeper waters as well. So here's the big controversial question. Can we slow down? Do we have the intellectual capacity to enjoy the incredible natural resources we have here and entertain ourselves without gunning a motor? Here's something I'll bet you didn't know. Forest fires, campfires, brush fires, slash fires, weenie roast fires, all fires in the watershed are major phosphorus polluters of the lake.
It's fun to have weenie roast or s'mores down at the lake, but every gallon of ashes can make a mile square of algae bloom. It could cause a large problem in front of your house. You won't be able to swim. Many times I've come up and talked to people, they are surprised, and I say, after you're done, collect your ashes, put them in a bucket, and take them away to a safe spot where it won't get to the lake.
Okay, with all due respect to Bosch and Whirlpool and Kenmore, when it comes to getting your dishes sparkling clean, the phosphorus in the automatic dishwasher detergent does at least half the heavy lifting. For the sake of the watershed, buy phosphorus-free detergent. It'll work fine if you can just use a little elbow grease on the dishes before you load them. Ask the average Joe what a wetland is, and he'll probably come up with words like swamp and cattails and mud. But wetlands are a watershed's magic eraser. They are where surface water suddenly goes deep, 30, 50, even 200 feet deep, before re-emerging downslope, scrubbed clean. They're like the lake's kidneys. They're vital to its health. And they're not necessarily wet year-round. They can be just boggy areas that reappear every year for only part of the year.
A wetland is a whole eco-environment in itself. There's all sorts of critters in the soil, in the water, and what comes out of a wetland will impact that's downstream.
It takes a particular set of conditions for a wetland to exist. There's the hydrology, which means the water wants to be there naturally. There's the soil type, and then there's specialized plants that grow in wetlands. And they are adapted to that environment, and they work as a filtering sponge in the watershed. They can absorb nutrients, process those before they reach the water. They can attach to contaminants and break those down into harmless compounds. And a lot of people, I think, see them as a nuisance. They see them as just cattails and mud and somewhere that can't be developed, but they really are crucial in protecting water quality.
It's true that the regulations already in place are not being enforced reliably, and in most cases they aren't stiff enough to deter blatant violators, but they're all we have right now. One of the biggest shortfalls is that there are lots of lakes in Kootenai County and only so many investigators. So for the health of Hayden Lake, we need to stand up and be more demanding. Most violators are simply unaware that they're damaging the lake. Some are aware, but they're pretty sure they can get away with it. You don't have to know whether a law has been broken, and you don't have to know whether it's deliberate. If you see something going on in the watershed that could be a problem for the lake, report it.
We need that kind of citizen help because truth of the matter is that the state and federal government are often preoccupied with other problems, and sometimes they only react in response to citizen complaints.
Hayden Lake has some impressive state and federal protections because it's on what's called the Clean Water Act's 303D list. Because of that dubious distinction, if a new project in the watershed is on land that's an acre in size or larger, and it's not done in a way that keeps stormwater runoff from hitting the lake, the penalties can be pretty persuasive.
After a 7-year study, the federal government through EPA in 1994 placed Hayden Lake into a threatened status. What that means is that the federal government enforcing the Clean Water Act can impose fines for violation of the pollution controls in the amount of $32,500 per day for each violation.
The big stumbling block for most people is, who do you call? Is it a county issue? State? Federal? Sometimes even if you call the right agency, the person who answers the phone is human and may not at that particular moment be helpful. Don't be dissuaded. This is important. Here's what to do. For logging or development in 1 acre or more, the Idaho Department of Environmental Quality, I ask for June Bergquist, 769-1422. For logging, mudboggers, or anything else that might affect streams in the watershed, the Coeur d'Alene National Forest River Ranger District, I ask for Ed Leiter, 664-2318. For anything that involves earth moving anywhere in the watershed, the Kootenai County Building and Planning Department, I ask for Scott Clark, 446-1081. To report erosion or to ask for help preventing erosion from sites in the watershed that are already developed, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, I ask for Mark Addy, extension 106. The number is 762-4939. And when you just don't know where to start, the go-to guy is the Hayden Lake Watershed Association's underpaid but dedicated lake manager, Todd Walker.
I'm the guy to call if you have any questions about anything that's going on with Hayden Lake. My telephone number is 771-0525 and call anytime.
That $32,500 daily penalty through the Clean Water Act is rarely enforced, even though apparent violations happen every year. Remember, what goes in Hayden Lake stays in Hayden Lake, so don't wait. If you see earth-moving equipment or construction in the watershed, call DEQ or Todd Walker to find out if it's being done properly, and then stay with them. Also, Unlike the county hearing examiners, our county commissioners don't have to have any scientific or engineering or legal or community planning background at all in order to get elected. But their decisions impact our environment in a huge way. They need scientific and citizen guidance. So it's your job, for the sake of our natural resources, to vote and to support organizations who hold the commissioners' feet to the fire between elections. Help them get the facts, not emotions, not politics, facts.
Some of the elders came here because it was a place where they could be at peace. You know, there's just, I can even feel it now.
Thank you.